Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Good morning. This is Dr. Erin from La La Land, teaching universal law and spiritual truth. So today's topic is investments. Interesting topic. We have an interesting stock market, and I am not a financial advisor, but I do think it's fascinating what's going on in the stock market. And I know that there's a lot of talk about cryptocurrency and a shift in all financial platforms. And I know there's so many shifts going on in today's world. There's a lot of talk about college, all the loans that students have, and there's a lot of viewpoints on what is right and wrong and all this stuff. But what I know for sure is that we are in some major shifting. So the topic actually today, the title of this talk is The Best Investment is in Expanding Your Consciousness. The best investment is in expanding your consciousness, because no matter what happens on the different levels of the markets of our world, when we have a strong consciousness, you can make good decisions for yourself. And you can adjust, because what I know for sure is that we are in a lot of fluctuation. There's a lot of unknown. And you need to have an innovative mind, which is your birthright. It's who you are. It's just whether you have developed that and acknowledged that. So I struggled with some of the stuff because I just wasn't a traditional school child. I never understood. Why do I have to learn, geography when I just don't even understand why the hell we're here in this life? As one of those kids, like, why do I care about that when I really want to care about what the freak are we doing here, people, right? So recently I've had to come into this as well. My son chose to not go to college, and it was, not easy. I wanted him to go to college. We had set up some funds for him to go to college. And he came to me, we discussed it at the end of high school, and he said, Mom, I really have no interest in going to college. It's not how I learn, and I will always be developing myself in different coaching programs and self-development, but I'm just not interested in traditional school. And I thought, wow, well, it sucks, because I want him to have a lot of the relationships that come out of great college scenes, and just be able to develop his English and all kinds of things. But I had to respect his choice as, he became an adult. Of course, I did not pay for him financially. It's like, well, if you're not going to go to college, that means you're financially on your own, which he said, I understand, and that makes sense. And so it's actually been amazing, because he's developed himself in so many ways as an entrepreneur, and is constantly in coaching programs and expanding his consciousness and reading and learning online and all this stuff. So the point is each and every person has a different path. I honor that, and I honor that it's not better or worse. One path's not better or worse. However, I do believe education is always the higher path, whether it be in traditional education or whether it be in a spiritual education. I'm a true avid of spiritual and expanding consciousness. So on that note, I just realized that from a spiritual perspective, we can't take anything with us, you guys. When we leave this lifetime, nor are we guaranteed any financial security during this lifetime. Financial markets go up and down. Natural disasters happen. Life has a way of teaching us to not attach to anything in the physical realm. However, we get to keep one thing and one thing only, and it is our consciousness. Your consciousness predicts your future holdings. So if there's one thing I'd want for my son, one thing I would say as advice for anybody out there, whether you choose to go to college, whether you choose to expand, you can be 60 and you can still be educating yourself. I am addicted to learning. That's my one addiction in this life. And I'm not just talking about memorization or something like that, but addiction to expanding my viewpoint, expanding my consciousness, expanding all of it. And that includes embodying more skills, embodying more expertise in your field. So I believe it's both. And I truly believe that the best investment we can make today is in our consciousness. This material stuff will come and go. Even we have to say goodbye to this body in this form. We have to, say goodbye to the relationships in this form. Relationships are eternal, but in this form, they go away. So what do we really want to invest in? And so I invite you to take a look at that today. And as we align today, right now and right here, I know that today is a day to align with universal law. And so today's law is the law of tithing. And this was, I had a little bit of turmoil deciding if I wanted to use this as one of my laws, because tithing was something that I had mixed feelings on growing up, being anti-religion pretty much, just coming from the 70s of California. It was almost looked down upon to have a religion. And I'm not necessarily religious, I'm spiritual, but there is still the law of tithing. And I'm going to get into this a little bit because it ties back into what we invest in. What you invest in, because we know through the law that what we give attention to expands and what we don't give attention to diminishes, right? So tithing really is about giving really about your spiritual advancement. And so investing in your expanding of your consciousness means tithing. It means giving to your spiritual advancement through time, treasure, and talent. It's returned abundantly tenfold. So tithing, if you look at the history, there's some kind of not necessarily good history around this, right? It's basically like the government and the big churches making people give 10% of their income. I'm not talking about that kind of tithing. I'm talking about the tithing that is giving your time, treasure, and talent to your spiritual advancement or your spiritual community, because it's one and the same. And so if you want to have prosperity, if you want to have a good investment, you must give abundantly to that area of life. And I am telling you, I actually don't know how much money I've spent on my spiritual advancement. It's been hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not probably $250,000. But if you take a look at really how much time and effort I've put into it, we're talking millions of dollars. And I know this is not just me. I have friends that spend tons of money on coaching, spend tons of money on understanding and reprogramming their subconscious mind. They spend tons of money on self-development. And I am an avid of spending money in that arena. Again, if you're a traditional school person, go spend the money there, because I truly believe that as we develop ourselves, it doesn't matter. Education, expanding, learning, growing, it all benefits the life. And I know that the tithing is where you spend money. Basically, it's returned tenfold. It's the law of the universe. So where you spend money, where you put your attention has to expand at least tenfold. I think it expands quantumly, exponentially. But that's the law of today. And we know that as we align with universal law, we experience being more powerful. So I promise that if you put money into your own development, it will return to you abundantly. Forget all the, buying of the next material stuff. That will come anyway. When you put number one to put your focus on expanding your consciousness, it has to be returned abundantly, okay? So today's daily spiritual practice, because we have this beautiful sun that comes up every morning, whether it be cloudy or not, and it's our opportunity to step further and further into our personal truth and align with universal law. So today's daily spiritual practice is to go within and ask Spirit, your higher self, to deliver the vision of your own spiritual development. What's your divine right action? What's your best investing and time in your development and your expanding of your consciousness, or in your education, whatever that is? Go in within, go into meditation, ask Spirit to deliver that truth you already know that truth. Maybe it's reaching out for researching, whatever that is, okay? And then today's challenge, because we have this fun game of life, today's challenge is invest in expanding your consciousness. Find a mentor, find a coach, get a spiritual community, or go to a spiritual program. Become a spiritual practitioner. You can actually get a certification as a spiritual practitioner. What does that mean? That means you can say that you actually practice what you preach. It's different to know the truth versus living the truth. You can find them through things like Emerson Theological Institute, Centers for Spiritual Living, Agape in Los Angeles, James Mellon Global Truth Center. There's so many amazing teachers. Eventually, I will be teaching this, but not now. Incredible to become a practitioner. Learn how to reprogram your subconscious mind or meditation. All those things you can do, whatever, to have a daily spiritual challenge. Your challenge today. So if you like this conversation, you guys, please like, share, and comment. This is Dr. Erin. You can find me across all social media as Dr. Erin. You can also find me at Erin Fall Haskell. That's with 2 L's in the fall, 2 L's in the Haskell. Get my book, Awakening. It's on Amazon. You can find it on my website. All the links. You can get my free app with 30 guided meditations. So just go to drerin.tv. It's DRERIN.tv, and it's all there. You got to put your info in and you will get it all sent directly to you. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful day and may you live your truth.